But now, so now this one,
That works though.
I probably have dealt with this more than you all have, but I will use it in the context, and I'll explain it to you after I read it. It says, it's hard to get over you after a breakup. We don't really have emotional support systems in place to rely on, and a lot of men have small social circles, so losing someone means a lot to us. So I say it in the context of when y'all are having a disagreement or you're beefing, they may think that we don't care, but we actually care.
Yeah.
It like I take that with me when I go to work. You know what I'm saying? When I'm playing basketball or on the game, you may think I don't care, but like in here, like I'm fucked up. Right. And I may not you may not see me sitting in the corner crying.
Right.
But I'm dealing with that just like how you be crying, like I be dealing with that too. So like what do y'all think about that?
You speaking to the choir on that, like just my whole demeanor is kind of like kind of nonchalant, kind of like, you know, it bothers me, but hey, God gonna wake me up tomorrow, I'm gonna be good. You know what I mean? And I say that, but that don't mean, like to your point, that I don't hurt. Or it's plenty of times that I've been to work and, you know, it has filtered in over, you know what I'm saying, some arguments that we may have a disagreements and stuff like that, to where, you know, I do care, but like you said, I'm just not going to be crying about it. I'm not going to be like, you know what I'm saying, thinking it's the end of the world, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Most men, I would say, I'm not gonna put all men, I think we have a more macro perspective on things, knowing, okay, we beefing now, but it ain't that big. You know what I'm saying? I don't like you now. True that. We, you know what I'm saying, disagreements, but I'm gonna be cool tomorrow. Like me personally, I know how y'all work, but usually after a good night rest, I be like, dang, what were we talking about yesterday?
Day, right.
Yep. You know what I mean? I'm just like, dang, like you still mad. I'm like, I'm trying to give you a hug. I'm trying to scoot over, trying to get a little cutty or something.
They may they get mad. You ain't getting none for a good week at least.
I'm just trying to scoot over.
Say nothing about that.
Right. But you still tripping on, you know, what we had yesterday, and you know what I mean.
But they'll say they not. Did you get that?
Right.
I'll say this. I'm nonchalant, but I'll let Shayla know if I'm upset. But I'm like you. We can talk. I want to get it over with. Right. Like for me, if we got a disagreement, let's do it. Let's get it over with.
On. Yep.
Sometimes she want to be left alone or whatever, and then not go back to it. And to me, it's gonna come back. Like it might not come back today, but it's gonna come back. So we had to learn how to navigate that because we approach things differently. So in the beginning, we used to have some knockdown arguments about, because I'm wanting to talk about it now, and she don't want to talk about it, and then the next day I'm cool. And I'm back. We like it didn't happen, right? Yeah. And I can tell it's a hangover effect, right? And I'm thinking, well, why didn't we just talk about it yesterday? Why are we worrying about it today? But that's just different people handling things different ways. So,
but that's another reason I like hashing it out, right? At that point, because you know, I've heard people, okay, just sleep on it and do that. Yeah. But for me, if I sleep on it, it's gonna be gone from me, right? Probably that next day. But we probably still need to talk about it. You know what I mean? But if I sleep on it for a day or two, I ain't gonna be worrying about it, but I need to talk about it now because we need to talk about it. Because if we wait another day or two, I'm gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not that big of a deal.
Right, I agree. I mean, and again, that just goes to it's different. That's why, like for you, you're talking about when you dating and meeting people like that. It's different because you don't really know how the other person's gonna react to something. I mean, you can stereotype to a degree, like most men handle this way, most women handle it this way, but I had to learn with Shayla, like I said, she's different in a lot of, you know, mostly good ways, to be honest with you, because she's cool, she's laid back. But every once in a while, it'll be something, she does something different. It took me a while, and I'm still adjusting. I mean, we you know, because, I mean, we all like what we like, right? So you got to learn how to navigate and figure out, okay, is it worth it sometimes? Like, do I, you know, or how do I go about this? Because I know when she's mad, and I'm sure she know when I'm mad, right? And so for me, it's tough because a lot of times I'll be upset and she don't want to talk about it. And then the next day after I'm kind of over it, I can tell now it's bothering her. Like I said before, and I'm like, well, we should just talk about it yesterday, but we're just different. So you got to figure out what's going to work. And
see, that's different in the dating game. Because I know you know what I'm saying, you say you're not for the streets, but you in the streets, you know what I'm saying, when you're dating and stuff. And so that's my thing with it, because you're really not going to see that real person until later on down the line.
Way later on, they're not gonna show you up front.
Like
none of us do.
Like, but now
I want to see you mad. I want to see you mad. Like, but you ain't gonna really see them mad in the dating. Like, you'll see them upset with you for a minute.
No, not your one friend. I saw her mad.
You saw her mad?
Yeah, I saw her mad. The one you went to TSU with, and Craigmont with, I saw her. Yeah, she got mad. Yeah, she got mad. She was,
But that's the thing. Like, you're not gonna see, anybody just like, okay, I'm not gonna get married to this person because I haven't seen them in all faith. Like, you're not gonna, like, I'm still seeing different phases of my wife, and I've been married 10 years. So anybody out there getting married and say, I'm not gonna get married until I see them in all different, like, but you're not in that phase like that to where you're gonna make a decision. Like, you'll be dating somebody for 10, 12 years.
And it could be anything. Like, I'm not trying to be, it could be a death in the family. It could be changing a job. It's going to be, me and Shayla dated for 5 years before we got married, which is, to me, longer than most people. A lot of people get married quicker than that. But we were together for a long time. And I'm sure there's things that she saw from me that maybe she didn't see during that 5 years. And I know there's certain things I saw from her that I didn't see during that 5 years. But, most of the stuff we kind of knew. But like you said, it's going to be things that come up because, life happens. So certain things happen and people react differently. And you can think, I hear people sometimes saying, well, I've heard stupid stuff like, well, brushing teeth or what they do with this or what they do with dishes. I'm like, come on, man. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Really?
But it's levels to it. Like, you're not going to. It's just something.
If you can't get past that though, you don't even need to think about getting married. If it's something that small is bothering you,
right?
Because what you gonna do when something big hits you?
It's a higher grade of it, like, because it's gonna be certain things you're not gonna like, and it's gonna rub you the wrong way that you just not gonna see in the dating phase, even if you live with that person,
right?
You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I'm gonna live with them, so I get to see but you still not gonna see certain. Cause when you married, that, like, to me, like that chemistry, like that chemical in your body, just like the guard goes down a little bit,
right?
Because we married, we got papers,
comfortable.
You know what I'm saying? You just can't leave like that,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So now, you know what I'm saying, that bonnet, you gonna be wearing that bonnet way more now.
When I came over here, was it last year? I came over here a couple of times in the daytime.
And
we was rapping, and we was rapping. But like, to your point, when you said that it wasn't even a bonnet thing, but it was just like, I thought, like,
you thought wrong,
right? Exactly.
Right.
Good thing I didn't get paid for thinking,
right?
But it was like, what you're mad at me about? Like, you're mad at me because you thought I was gonna be like Pastor Moss or somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and shout out to Pastor Moss, but from the standpoint of
absolutely, Pastor Moss married me and Shayla.
Exactly. We all got everybody in here.
Everybody got a friend. Everybody.
Pastor Moss called me David Todd King. So I love Pastor Moss.
Oh, damn. Okay. Shout out to Pastor Moss.
But like, you expected me, and that's another story for another day. But you expected me to be preaching every day,
right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But then you see stuff like, like.
I'm glad you brought that up. Can I say something real quick? Me and Shayla went and saw Pastor Moss not too long ago. We just went in there to
chop it up.
Go in and chop it up. And he told me, he said, because me and Shayla was talking about some different things, and Shayla's more, I don't know how to say it. I'm a Christian, I'm a man of God, but she's more vocal than me about certain things like that. So we're just different in certain ways. But Pastor Moss said something interesting that you said that, because when we were in there, he was like, well, I'm Pastor Moss at church, but when I come home, I'm Howard. He said that, and I thought that was good. I thought that was good because even Pastor Moss, when he go home, he just, he might walk around his jogging pants or whatever, whatever the case may be. So I just thought it was interesting you was bringing that up, because we all, when you get home, whether you've been married, you get comfortable, right? And you're going to be yourself, and you better make sure when you marry somebody, you're going to be comfortable with they comfortable, because if you're not, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that he told us too, or told me. That was one of the issues that I had when we began our marriage, as far as, I think I'm a spiritual guy and we go through this, but I'm not called to be my wife's pastor or minister within that. I got to be the husband. So even when I got the solution, or even when God shows me certain things, she may not need to hear that at that point in time. She got to have that relationship. Like, and that's the stuff that I've been learning. Like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I can't be Mr. Fix-It and do all this stuff and give her this revelation and stuff like that. Because then she'll see that, and I tell her that, Then she also see the time where I get pissed off and I'm popping off and doing stuff like that. So she'll think I'm a hypocrite.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was trying to be this pastor husband type of deal instead of just being your husband and being that friend. And you know what I'm saying? You let me know what you want to do.
And let me say this real quick to you, saying that just came across my mind. So y'all know when I came on here last time, I said I ain't gonna cuss because that bothers Shayla. Something I've been trying to work on, but that's just like me and you talked earlier. That's just me. That's part of who I am. I don't say it to be mean or what. It just comes out, right? So I'm, and it happens. Like if I'm watching sports, if I'm playing a video, whatever I'm doing, sometimes it might just pop out. And I think for a while she would look at it. She would see that and she would look at it but for me, like for her, something she might have that's a weakness for her ain't a weakness for me. And this is real cliche, but something that's easy for her is hard for me and vice versa. And again, when you get with somebody, you have to learn, it's easy for me to go to dinner and not overeat or not eat dessert or this or that. But it might be somebody else struggle with. Right. So I have to respect that. But then when you hear me say, fuck this game, right? Or something like that, you can't be like, oh, a Christian man wouldn't do that. Or, I'm sorry, I'm not, I made a mistake. It's not, I'm not purposely here trying to do that or say that and sorry, for saying, but I'm just saying, I'm just using that as an example. That no doubt. Sometimes something happens and it's not, you don't purposely want something to pop off like that, but it just comes out and it's not in a malicious and you're not necessarily cursing at the person, you're just coming out, right? So for me, in a relationship too, you have to understand, what's easy for you might be hard for them and vice versa. And you also have to navigate that carefully too, because just because something's easy for you, that might be real hard for them, right? So, and something that's hard for you is easy for them. And sometimes it's hard to let them know, well, I understand you don't curse and, and whatever the case may be, but I do. And it's not, that I'm out here trying to cuss and I'm not trying to upset you or whatever, but it might pop off, but it's not, you know what I'm saying?
Me doing it in certain contexts is different than if I was directing it at you.
Right. If I say, F this game or whatever, I can't stand this shit or whatever it is you say, that's different than saying, you get in an argument and F you B or something like that. And then later on you go back and try to apologize because you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not that some people don't or whatever, but for me, I ain't never done something like that. But so,
it was one of the things.
Might not be sitting in this chair. So
I had a conversation with a homegirl of mine, and she said she called the dude a bitch, and then he didn't want to talk to him. I'm like, I mean, it's like she's like, well, I normally don't call dude bitches, but he was acting like one at that time. I was like, it's probably why you don't want to deal with you.
That's a true
right, and that's another thing. So even something as simple as that, like if you know that and then you say it, if you cross a certain line, sometimes that's it.
In that context, she called him that because he crossed the line. But then he couldn't take, as the great Finesse 2 times would say, it's cool. It's cool when they do it.
Well, it's a lot of people.
Keep it presidential.